Hey everybody, Adam Savage in my cave with some visitors. This is Oren and Claire, and they are otherwise known as Hench and Scrap, and they have brought Owlbear. Hi guys.
Hi.
It is so lovely. I visited their shop in Adelaide last summer in Australia, and we geeked out for a few hours and agreed we had to do a meetup in San Francisco. And we're actually not just having a meetup, we're going to build an owlbear today.
Yes.
It's going to be kind of like a cooking show, but we're going to execute a version of this. Oh my good. Okay, tell me about this guy.
This was a mad rush build that we started about 3 days before a con.
What?
And we just were so inspired by the design. It was so adorable. We wanted to make it a real life thing. So
and Owlbear is from Baldur's Gate, just to start out.
The game came out and we were playing the game and the character appears in the game and we're like, neither of us, we love cosplaying from games.
Yes.
And nothing had appealed to us until then. And we were like, what if we made a puppet rather than a cosplay? And it was only 3 days until the con where we kind of had that idea. So we just, in this like mad fugue state, executed making a puppet.
So you wanted to meet him so badly. You suffered through 3 days.
We needed the baby in our lives. Yes.
I really understand that. And I love that moment when I have that realization of like, I really am compelled by this thing. I could make one. Like my life has been, those are real spikes on the graph, right? So you executed him in 3 days from conception to execution.
Yes. With almost everything that we make, we kind of do a rough, like, fugue state passion build, and then we decide on what we're going to fix later on. So with him, he got a bit of a cosmetic overhaul afterwards.
A brush.
Yes, a brush, a feather cut. I added, like, emu feathers. And
so it sounds like you're prioritized for the kind of split-second seat-of-the-pants decisions in a fast execution for getting you over the hump of, here's one way to solve this problem.
Yes. We're very used to short turnaround deadlines with all of our like professional projects.
Right, so you do professional projects as well?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's all about what can we cut, what is the best way to have a finished product by the timeline.
Yeah.
I find him so beautiful. Now out of your shop, I can see that he's not covered in feathers. He's covered in fur, but you have done such a magnificent feather simulacra. Can you tell me about this?
I love texture, and owlbear is owlbear. So you need the furry elements and you need the feathered elements. And something that I love in costume is creating texture with fur. So I really wanted to use some of the costuming techniques that I kind of have used in the past with costumes made of fur. So it's a really simple scissor cut technique into the base of the fur. What are you doing, buddy? Just snipping them into the shape of feathers. And it's really great because with the fur, unlike if you're using real feathers where you need the different sizes of feathers for the different parts of the anatomy, you can just contour the fur and you get these lovely little delicate feathers around the face, and you can graduate them so they're a little fuzzy around the edges. And
am I right? I do see some also real feathers in here?
Yeah. So I love using anything from Australia. I use kangaroo leather. So we've used emu feathers to give them that really scrungly, kind of just woke up, just fresh out of bed texture.
Oh, I love it. I just love it. And then I see a lot of very, very subtle airbrush work tying it together.
Yeah, I always love adding a little bit of realism. We've got some kind of like white. So I love happy accidents, and parrots have that like the white accumulation on their beak. And originally that happened because I used too much cyanoacrylate doing in the beak.
Fair.
And I was like, that's great. I'm going to add more of that with paint. So I just I like going through just adding a little bit of realism, and
Well, we're going to get all the way into this guy today. You guys sent me the patterns. I did about 85% of the foam inner body and about the same of the fur outer body in a totally different color. I was thinking, let's do a completely new colorway. Are you guys ready to get into it?
I'm
so excited.
God, I am so excited. He is so evocative, and also, I don't normally see puppets this large.
I like how unwieldy he is, and you get that sense of like weight. Like this is a big baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful big baby. All right, let's get started. All right, Claire, you're slicing my guy up through his belly.
You did an amazing.
What did I get wrong?
You did an amazing job of this, honestly. Like the first time I was putting this together, I got everything wrong. I pulled things apart and heat gunned everything apart. But there's just a couple of panels that we need to do. But we have our little tardigrade. Baby.
I know it's such a tardigrade, and you don't know, but I'm completely obsessed with tardigrades.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what is next for this guy here?
So next up, we're gonna,
So did I see you
de-tauntaun
doing
him
a
and-
these go?
yeah. So this is a belly panel. This will because the open cell's so stretchy, and we use game files. There's a lot of darts, and I don't bother including the darts.
Yeah, I noticed
just stretch things into shape because then you kind of just get the compound curves and everything.
So you're letting the foam do that work that Pepakura tries to do out of rigid paper.
Yeah, like initially when I started doing this kind of work, I would cut every dart meticulously.
Right. Yeah,
You
no.
get the same result from
Less necessary.
Yeah.
This is great. I now know the next steps. Let me get a weight for him.
What am I doing? Mark some little pieces.
Oh, and if you want, these were great for holding the.
Oh, this is exactly what I use at home.
And if you want
these
some
are
more of
great.
the big blue ones, I've got a ton of them.
The big ones are really nice. These are very cool. I love sewing. I use them for leather as well.
They've changed my whole life.
Yeah, so it's like that. And then this, like, so much
It
foam
gets
work.
forced in.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can see this corner here is sort of
Yeah.
supposed to match there.
Okay, so that goes there,
Yeah.
and then
And then
now I
this
get
will
it.
jigsaw
Okay,
here.
great,
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's
That's
it's
totally
like the
clear.
opposite of any sort of rigid pattern making because everything just gets warped. Because with video game textures as well,
Right.
everything kind of is a bit warped just because you can do that, right?
That's
How would
It's
you?
all triangles, but
Yes.
the triangles don't go where you want them to go.
No, like Oren's whole background in this started from pulling apart game files. That's kind of how he learned to 3D model was pulling apart other people's stuff, which is honestly really cool. I really appreciate that you use exactly the same seam allowance that I did with this. It makes it really easy.
Oh, now the smell is getting good.
That's Super 77.
Yep.
Yep. That is like the smell of my whole time on Lord of the Rings is like Super 77 and Neatsfoot oil
Yes.
in the armory was just yep.
Is that how that happens?
Wait. That's a really interesting way of doing that.
I mean,
no.
maybe.
So these bits do not go here. So
okay.
This connects down to the God puppet patterns are. We'll get our little tardigrade, and we'll apply the fur, and I might end up whip stitching it by hand.
Oh, by all means.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Because I think that it'll fit better rather than making a complete skin and skinning it, and then I'll whip stitch it down.
Yeah.
I find because I've been sewing a while, and sometimes it's just faster to just grab a needle and thread rather than try and machine sew and fit.
Especially since all these move. Right?
Yeah.
They'll give
exactly.
you lots of
Yeah.
forgiveness.
And foam is like this will be a lot bigger than the inside of this, which is great because the internal forces kind of mean that it won't sag as much over time. If you cram, there's always just that little bit of like that'll hold it out. Yeah.
But again, some of that is your internal institutional knowledge.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Very much so.
All right. This is all so slowly setting, but
Yeah.
And then I don't know if I do that.
No, the tail just kind of
okay.
sockets onto that. I believe.
Great.
Yeah.
And where do you enter do you enter from here?
So ours has a little like back slit, which is just simply slitting open the
Oh,
foam.
great.
I kind of, so that it doesn't pull the seam open, I like to cut a little square, like envelope
Oh, yeah,
pocket,
totally.
so that it doesn't just tear
do
open
we
the whole
save
back
that
seam.
until we know, or do you want me
Yeah,
to?
we'll save that until we know as well, because
Okay.
we can kind of figure out where is best. And I kind of work with Oren to figure out handle length and where
Right,
is best to pop
right.
it out for doing repairs
Right, where
afterwards
you
and
want to.
assembly. And from this point, it's very much like balancing between the two. Don't do too much by yourself.
I'm going to join him over there. All right, I'm going to head over to mechanical.
Yeah.
These are purchasable items?
These are just a bought mold.
Oh, wow.
These are just a bought mold.
And so you've made your 3D prints able to be braced above that so that you still end up with a perfect sphere.
Exactly. And so a little bit of clear resin. Normally what we would do,
Sorry,
So,
I'm seeing these for the first time.
painted, and you would run a electrical tape. You'd
Yeah.
do a first casting, because you want to avoid air entrapment in all of these tiny details.
Right, air just wants to sit in there.
Yes.
If any sat down there, you'd see it.
So electrical tape is great because you get that little bit of flex, because you're trying to get to a sphere and you want
Yeah.
to minimize grinding. So you run a first pressure cast this way, a little bit of tape, grind it back down.
Pressure cast to make the bubbles as small as humanly possible.
Exactly. And then you take that piece, grind away your resin, and you can do the
And
full
then you
embedment.
pot it in the half circle mold again
Yes.
and cast on top of what you ground. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Do you have to, when you grind it just for the basic size, when you pour the second pour, does that seam mostly disappear?
It completely disappears.
Wow.
You have a full contact area. Like all of these eyes, every single one of them has been done with that 2-part pot. You can see that's why there's a little bit of paint missing here.
Yeah.
It's where I just went a little too deep with the Dremel. But you cannot discern a single layer shift in that material.
And the lensing that's happening as I'm moving this is fascinating.
It's one of those great things that when you have a hemispherical clear, you get optics.
so beautiful.
Because of that, whenever we're doing a piece, especially if it's more of a character with side-mounted eyes, like a mouse, these are mouse eyes, then you want to experiment with different pupil sizes
you play
for different
around.
lenses.
Oh.
Because it's side-mounted, you get that in through the side.
Right.
So you want to have your blacks disappear to the edge, and it's about getting the right pupil size in the sculpt that when you're getting it side on, it looks like it's looking forward.
Oh man, this must have been thrilling the first time you pulled one out of a mold.
Oh, it was the best. It's one of those things where you're not sure if anything's going to work. Like I fully expected this to be a bubbly mess, and pulled it out the first time. It was gorgeous. It worked first time on these. I don't think we would have had time. It's a 16-hour.
Right.
It's a 16-hour cure time resin.
Oh wow.
And we needed to do 2 castings. So 32 hours of cure time on a 3-day build is, we couldn't have done it again. So it had to work the first time.
Okay, so those are eyes. We have eyelids that go on top of the eyes.
Yes.
Is this a rig you designed from scratch or modified from some other rigs you had built in the past?
No, this is all scratch modeled with just a really light, light sculpt pass to give some detail to the eyelids.
Printed in resin?
Yeah, all resin printed.
Oh, it's monolithic. It's one piece. Oh, so sorry. It's one piece for both blinks. That's really efficient.
The reason I like that, especially with this rigid center mounting, we found if you cross mounting, you get torsion across the entire piece, and the eyelids start binding up.
Fair. So you want to activate it from the center to balance the load across.
Bingo.
All right, and then and that's so.
So
this head is mounted on a stalk.
yes, that's going to go
And
onto a
there's
piece of
a-
aluminium with a
there's
hand
a-
rig.
And there's gross head movement.
Yes,
Then there's ear flapping.
yes,
And eye blinking.
correct.
Is that those are the
That's it.
operations? So much personality.
It's
in
a
it, just ear flapping
remarkably
and eye
simple-
blinking.
We've done full hand rigs and stuff,
Yeah.
but there's something about just a couple of levers and a little bit of magic just really brings a lot of life to a really simple thing.
Okay, so now you were saying that on the 3-day extravaganza, the hand mechanism is a little rough and ready around the edges.
Yes.
You want to set me on some of that to.
Yeah, absolutely. I did bring a handle with us. This
that's
is
great.
one of our more updated style hand rigs. Instead
Yep.
of just a piece of foam hot glued on, we have grub screws now. I know, incredible. So we can start with something like that, and then realistically, all it needs to be is one thumb toggle for
Right.
the ears, and then I like having a through design so you can push blink and pull blink, because then you can do things like do a half push to get that half closed
Yeah.
and waggle the ears at the same time.
Nice. I'm really
And that
looking
just
forward to
all has
showing
to
me how you.
mount
Okay,
to
so
that.
you're working on the mounting of this into here,
Correct.
and then the I'm just curious. I haven't seen the mechanics on Owlbear.
We will pull him apart.
Okay. Ooh, ah.
We'll pull him apart. There's definitely a part of puppet making which is mildly body horror-esque when you have just a head on a stick and you're working inside of it.
Fair.
Or a mouse mounted upside down on a skewer is one of my favorite images from the paint booth.
Okay, so you seem like you're in a good place here.
Yeah,
You're going to need some mechanical bits for attaching some of this.
Re-
Let me know. I have threaded inserts, heat set inserts. I've got all that stuff.
no heat sets on this. We're all doing tapped.
Great.
The biggest thing we're going to need to do is do the cross thread through the entire skull, because all threads can mount through the skull, through the eyelids, through the eye. All is one solid
Let me
piece.
see. I might have a drill bit that gets you all the way. 1.56.
I would say a 3.2 with an M4 tap, but I'm assuming we're going Imperial.
Yes, we are going Imperial because I don't have a lot of metric all thread, despite having a ton of metric hardware. That will get all the way through.
Oh, I can drill it from each side.
Oh, lovely.
And then we'll be drilling through each eyelid as well.
Oh my gosh, everything.
I'm just clearing a little bit of clay out of the side of the eyes. I just clay it up so that when it's being pressure cast, the resin doesn't backflow through our lovely center hole. That is a bad time.
Very civilized.
It's also why I do the cross mounts that offset it in just a wooden skewer, because it's easy to drill through, because it does obviously interact internally.
Yeah. There's something so, like, I never get over manufactured eyes.
They're very fun. A little bit creepy, but very
Always
fun.
a little bit creepy, but the creepiness is because they show up already with some personality, you know?
What is it about the eyes of the window to the soul and all of that? This is why it's a great thing to have spares, because then you can just test things.
I say, whenever you want to build 2 of something, you start with 4 or 5.
Yep.
And you'll end up with 3.
I'm gonna have some childish humor for a moment. One of the funny things about running these, when you're pressure casting them, if your resin comes over the line, you have a pressurized chamber of air on the inside. So when you drill it, you hit the pocket of pressurized air.
And it farts.
And it farts. And it farts all the dust out.
Oh, that's so funny.
Which is great if you're like doing it the first time.
You want to test that? And
Yes.
see if that rolls there.
That's
Is that
that's what we want.
nice? Nice. A very close fit. Okay, cool. Oh, look at the colors. Oh, such a universe in there. I really, really liked working with this nylon as a base material. For
Yeah.
it's just so structurally sound.
So one of the things that I would love to get your help with, once we've got this through,
Yeah,
the easiest way I find to be able to work on this later
yeah,
is we cut it to almost to length,
yep.
and then just run a small cut in the end. So you can just use a flathead screwdriver
Oh yeah.
to de-thread the whole
Easy,
thing if
easy,
you ever
easy.
need to work on it in the future. Which, of course, nothing bad
you
would
do
ever
2
happen.
or 1 goes all the way across?
I go one all the way through.
Awesome.
So technically, we only need it threaded on this end. But
Oh right, yeah.
which does make assembly a little bit easier, but I do like tapping both ends just for a little bit of security.
Fair.
And then we're gonna, on the back side here,
Yeah.
because the eyelids are gonna be mounted. Here's one I prepared earlier. Eyelids are gonna be mounted in here.
Oh right.
We want to be able to backstop them because obviously you don't want the eyelids to just freakishly disappear
yes,
all the
yeah,
way in.
Yeah.
So that's what these guys here are for. We can just run. I have M4 bolts with me
Oh
to
nice. You tap
run
and
through.
run.
If we have an M4 tap,
Yeah.
we can just
I do.
prep an M4 tap and run M4 bolts.
Excellent.
And then they are just an adjustable end stop for each eyelid.
Oh, that's great.
It's also great for mounting the springs.
Yeah. Oh, great. I have tons of those.
It does double duty. I brought some with me just in case.
Fab.
Everything I was prepping, I was like, I'll grab it just in case. But I'm sure Adam Savage has springs in his workshop. But just in case. Alrighty, so this is definitely our starter, right?
Yep, that's for
Cool.
sure.
I don't want to ruin a very long 3D print.
Okay.
Yeah, just as long as we can sort of peer in just to cross-check things because it's been a while.
This is, oh, that's the ear waggle. Okay,
Yeah.
and it's just a pull.
Yep, just pull because it's
I
a
could
spring
do that
return to true.
as a loop. As a little,
Yeah,
you know.
that would turn. I find, especially on the inside of things, loops are really difficult to kind of key. Unless you do the like style where you've got the 2 channels and it's a loop mounted on a rail.
Right. Okay, so
Which is fine to do. You know, you can just drill 2 holes and run it on some. I'm going to say linear rod, but I use like TIG welding sticks.
yeah,
the
yeah,
1.6
no, I
mil.
totally use
Those
that
are
stuff
great.
too.
Mount
Okay,
everything on
so
those.
you're gonna play around on getting these mechanics up here done while
Yeah.
I'm working on the bass stuff down here.
That sounds great.
Okay, dude, I just love how simple the mechanics are.
It is simple as a word that could be used to describe this. Yes.
Look, it gets the job done. I fell in love with this puppet, and so I'm gonna follow your exact design here.
Dimensions.
I'll just grab a piece of aluminum or Delrin to make that handle, and a
I
second
think we
one
can
here.
make something much nicer.
I was thinking that with this one, you could do a cut here
Yep.
and get a little more for the earwag. Okay, cool. I'm taking some of the thickness out of the main puppeteering bar, just like 0.5 millimeter. It doesn't have to be that precise.
This is the optimal length to work on a part. You want to have as much torque as possible so you can break everything that you're working on. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. It's probably licensed and I shouldn't sing it. If only there was some way to make this less awkward to work on. There we go.
And these have grub screws
Whoa.
as well. So these
Bloody
go
beautiful.
up and down, right?
Yes. Pneumatic fittings away from each other.
Right. And just to be clear, like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
and
nice
probably-
top end for that.
So biggest concern is about where it ends up keying in the body because
Right.
obviously you're adding a bit of bulk to the control handle.
Yes.
So closer to the handle.
Great.
Mm.
So I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
I'd gone high enough here.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's the
heaps,
most- okay,
heaps of room.
Okay, cool. So then I'm going to cut this right around here, and then we'll bring it down.
Lovely. All right.
Great. Yeah, I've gone too high on that, which is good. I have extra room to cut down to.
There's always that like difficulty of coming into someone else's space.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling that as much with this shop. Like,
Oh, I'm delighted to hear that.
There's a logic to it that I really love. It's really cool.
Okay.
Do you have something nice for running through it to have the steel cable not get torn to shreds? Like a rubber grommet,
Oh, okay.
something like that?
Copy that. I'm just going to, once I get this mounted, then I'm going to do a pop rivet, 2 pop rivets with
Yep.
a little arm on there. Okay. Is that enough? No, a little more.
Did you decide, by the way, Adam, did you
Yeah.
want that threaded or did you want nuts on each?
Let's do nuts on either side. I
Done.
think that's simpler.
Oren's having a great time.
I'm gonna get a grub screw in there.
Get in there.
This is a fun experience. I just want to make sure not to get it where we're going to be painting. It's a fun game that Claire and I play, where I try not to cover everything in lithium grease, so that when she's painting, she doesn't hate me.
That's funny. This is right? These face away from each other.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, because the Teflon tubing should come in from each end. Though I suspect with the amount we've got here, we're not going to run a Teflon
Right.
pipe down. We'll just run.
right. This is how we set tension. Or no.
We can set
Oh,
tension
right.
in
But that,
here,
oh my God, of course. Oh, that's great.
and then you can run quick disconnects as well.
Yeah. All right. So now I need.
I'm about to do one of those things that's difficult to film, but once it's done, I will either have an entire owlbear or not.
Oh, it's that mission critical. Oh, right. It's the one beam to rule them all.
Yeah, this is let's mount everything on one rod.
Yeah.
All at
Oh,
once. Every rod all at once.
I'm gonna here. Oh, by the way, you can get
Oh,
some
yeah,
more light on the
lighting.
situation if you want there. Okay.
These have a very slight keying to them
Oh, really?
because you don't want your eyes should not look exactly parallel to each other. Otherwise, when you're looking at it, it looks slightly cross-eyed.
Oh.
They should be very slightly.
Oh, you camber in a little bit.
Yeah, they're zeroed in to a point.
These are the little tiny things you learn by making puppets.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you have a very,
So it's a focal point. There has to
very
be a
slight
focal point.
So when your target is about 2 meters away, and it looks there.
That is really cool.
It's that little bit of life.
Okay, I'm gonna. What do I have here? Just because you don't get to play with Delrin a lot, I've got some
Oh yeah,
3 mil Delrin sheet. I'm gonna.
I have
mess
like
with.
one piece of Delrin, and I've never used it because it's too good for any project.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It is like a 15 mil piece of Delrin though. It's beautiful. I'll use it on something one day, and it's going to be great. No, I won't. It's never going to get used.
We can make
No, there's
wedding
a
rings
moment
out of
where-
it.
When I made the teeth of my no face,
Oh,
and those are all Delrin.
really.
So it's like $200 worth of Delrin. And as I'm cutting apart this 3-inch thick slab of Delrin to make all the teeth, I'm appalled that I'm wasting this material. And the other part of my brain is saying, this is the rainy day you bought this for, dummy.
I mean, I feel like there's something quite fitting about using such an expensive material on what is, an avatar of greed.
Yes! I hadn't thought of that. You're totally right. So I'm thinking you have it coming straight out, but I want to bring it out and down here. And this is ear flap, right?
Yes.
Yes. So it's just right. So it's just like and I'm just like, yeah.
Is that going to require a linkage?
No, I think I'm doing the same thing here.
But you want to just come
I'm
off
just
and
I'm
down?
just literally basically
Yeah,
dropping
yeah.
that grip point down so I don't have to put my thumb up so
Totally.
far for it. Whoa! You got it.
Yeah, we go.
Dude, oh, it's lovely. I can't believe it all moves so well. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, we can pull it back apart, do the dry brushing on the lids, but running
Yep,
the lines and the springs.
Dude, that's amazing. You brought some springs. I also have boxes full of them.
Amazing.
Excellent. What? We got legs.
We got legs. They'll help a lot. Alrighty.
All right.
Oh, I love that.
This is so much fun to build this stuff. Oh my god. Eye surgery, it's horrifying. Oh, it's the best.
Will horrors never cease?
Exactly. All right. So I'm just going to cut another 1.5 inches off there.
Sounds good. I need some paint eyelids.
Give or take.
Give or take.
Yeah, see, I'm still a little bit tall.
You may be able to push that on a little bit more.
I've also made it tall so we can always take stuff away. What is the next,
So
our next business?
we need painted eyelids.
Okay.
So I'm going to hand those to Claire
Okay.
because I should not be trusted with any paint in my life.
You could. It's like 3 seconds of dry
It's
brush.
3 seconds of dry brushing that I'm sure I will find a way to somehow ruin.
Just go.
Do you want to walk me through it?
Oh, yeah. I suppose we can.
Let's do it.
So, painting these is so easy, and a lot of the time, simpler is just better. So, I like to, because you've always got that tolerance between the eyelid and the skull. I always like to try and keep as much of the lighter colors away from the side, because as soon as light bounces off that, you'll see the gappiness
Oh.
in a puppet.
Oh, so you're looking to put the lighter color towards the actual edge of the lid, but
Well,
drop
no,
back?
in the center of the lid.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I mean.
Yeah. So then, like I'll just start with a darker brown. You'll barely see it, but in here,
I can already see it's adding some depth there.
yeah, just a little. And it's great because all the work in Blender that Oren put into the eyelids just comes. Like, I love dry brushing because it's just lazy.
Me too. So much bang for the buck.
It's so good. Like I do a lot of mini painting.
Yeah.
Follow YouTube tutorials and everything to try and get like beautiful technical paint jobs. And so much of the time I just come back to 2 thin coats of paint and a wash and a dry brush because it just works. But and similar principle to just makeup. You want a bit of contouring mostly on the centers.
But you're concentrating mostly on the centers.
Uh-huh.
And that's just to hide the transition from where the eye and the skin might meet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Especially
great.
since with this guy, I love to give him the dark eyeliner.
Right.
Really just brings out the cute brown eyes. There's a lot of makeup theory in this.
I think that makes total sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of friends who are very technical, like beauty makeup artists. The stuff they do is sorcery.
But that stuff blows my mind.
Yeah, I couldn't.
No, it's an attention to subtleties that never cross my brain.
Yeah. Yes. That is exactly it. Yes. I'm a 5 minutes of eyeliner and go old school goth. That's not my. We did this Starfield helmet for a project.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I had really bad orange peeling on the first coat of paint that I did, and it was the night before the deadline, and I was devastated. And I sanded it right back, and I wasn't gonna get time to do a really nice gloss coat. So I just hit it with the 00 steel wool.
Yeah.
And then I applied my Alclad paints over that, and I was like, "Oh, this is it. It's a space pirate helmet." Too. And I'm just like, "This is this beautiful used texture of it." I'm like, "This looks so much better than the hours of paint prep and clear coating that I had originally prepped." And I'm like, "Oh, cool! Now I don't have to weather this."
Yeah.
So you kind of learn to just cut out all the finessey, fussy chaff, and just because deadlines are deadlines, and
Yes.
they make you realize what's important and what's not.
The phrase I use is they carve branches off your decision tree.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
And
That's exactly
institutional
it.
knowledge is knowing which branches matter and which ones don't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I see.
just
I
gonna-
see.
Just a little, and I've just over applied there, haven't I? And now I'm thinking ahead. Because what I love to do with the eyes at the very, very end, you don't have any paint on electrical tape, do you?
Negative.
Damn, I would have bought ours. Oh, we'll find something else. Because I'll show
To
you
give a little moisture look in the pointers or something?
what I do. I'll show you on his head in a
right.
second. Because I'm sure we can find a substitute. There'll be something.
Okay.
Yeah, so in here we just use paint on electrical tape.
Oh, that's just, you painted it on the fur at the transition point to blend
Yeah,
to the...
yeah. And if you look at animal eyes, like dog eyes, Labrador eyes is
There's
the big
always
one for me. There's always that beautiful brown eyeliner that they have, or black eyeliner.
I have some spray plastic dip we may be able to put into a cup and brush
I
it
bet
on.
we can make that work.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. That is
We have
so...
some
Oh, that is so
Contour,
subtle and
darling.
awesome.
Yeah, we've got some eyes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm going to bring these back to mechanical. With the eyes properly dry brushed, they are now being mounted into the head. And Oren and I, the next thing we're working on is the extension springs for. Ow! The next
not
thing to work
laughing.
on is the extension springs. That's what we're doing now. Yeah, I feel like that one's going to be more forgiving.
Yeah, so we have a set in here that we're a little bit too tight. And obviously when you're pulling on these with your fingers, you want it to be a soft operation.
I really appreciate your use of zip ties to hold the ends of the springs on, because I've spent so much of my life with a pair of like complicated needle nose trying to.
I like using the circlet pliers to like kind of space them open and get them, but it's just a nightmare in these tight
totally
these tight
and
spaces.
unnecessary.
And then you have an inbuilt tensioner. So if you want it to be tighter,
yeah.
you just a little bit more.
So how does that one feel?
Well, I want to stop
Oh, right, you're gonna
the
do
other
one too.
side.
Yeah, fair.
How's that feel? That's much nicer. Yeah.
Oh, it feels much more
Yeah.
even across the
Like
whole
you could do
throat,
it
too.
with your finger.
Yeah, and then you need the same for the bottom,
Yeah, the one's a little bit of a different.
which
depth,
I
but
have.
that's
I think
much too
slightly
tight.
longer ones that might suffice for that bottom.
And the other thing I've preset, you can see obviously the Teflon tubing is in place,
Yes.
which means when we go to finalize this, all we're gonna have to do is run our trace wire through, run them through, and then we can just swage them from this side. We don't need access to the far side
Oh, that's-
because the swage itself will act as an end stop and not go through the hole.
Ah, lovely.
Just so quick and easy to. That's a common trend here: is quick and easy.
So I think these are, which are slightly longer than the ones I gave you before,
Yeah.
might do great for those. You want to do the zip ties again? on the
Yeah,
bottom?
it's gonna be a bit of a. I've already preset the these bolts. These are the return bolts.
Oh, right, about the how far the travel is.
Bingo. Something that can be nice is on the back of these eyelids, we can pop a little bit of leather or rubber
Mm-hmm.
where it contacts that bolt, so you don't get the.
Oh, click. Yeah. Oh, it's the eyes. The eyes. Twink.
When they rotate all the way, because the cavity in the back.
It's so funny. Robot. That's the Terminator one. Oink. That's it.
We'll
It's
put
Five
some
Nights
red-
at Freddy's.
We'll put some red LEDs in there.
Exactly.
So they rotate.
Oh, this owlbear has been
Kill,
from good
kill.
to evil.
Alba has been set to murder.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that feels like a great return.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very reasonable
And
amount
I think
of
our
return.
ear toggles are pretty good as well. And if we need more, you can adjust the
You
cable
just- oh, I
ties.
love it. That's great. And there's just, okay, cool. Amazing, dude.
So at this stage, it's like we just pretty much need to fang some trace line in,
Yeah.
put a swage on,
Okay.
and you
And do
can
you need a crimper?
start using it. Yes, a swage clamp would be
Let me grab it.
great. Yeah, if we're running making of content at the same time, it's easily twice as long. Oh, Look at that, an actual swag tool. Incredible. I haven't accidentally cut through it 3 times while I'm trying to do it. It's almost like it was designed for this. Actually, I am going to use... No, there's no issue with this,
No,
right?
that
Like,
makes total
it's a
sense.
tiny wire, so...
Yeah. Love it. Interesting. That's our adjustability.
I really like having all the little like wrinkles
The
and
folds
folds
and-
under the
It
arm.
looks really authentic, like a
Yeah.
hamster's belly.
Yes, like a little chubbly guy. Like he's got enough excess skin for the winter.
I will admit to you that when I was getting this going, I was like, I'm not sure this fabric works, but I sent them a picture and they're excited, so I'm
Yeah.
going to count on your expertise.
I love texture.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that this one's gonna be really texturally different to that. And I think the feather cut, the shaggy feathers, is gonna be
I think it'll be really
Yeah,
fascinating.
like real like alpine owl.
Yes.
So it's like we've got our alpine subspecies of
right. It's true.
Yeah.
Above the tree line.
yeah.
So I have Flexi Paint,
Ooh,
black,
ooh,
strong
ooh.
bonding, durable, meant for painting onto Plastizote foam.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It seems like it should be.
Yeah,
good
yeah,
for
yeah.
our-
I
okay,
reckon
cool.
that would
Yeah.
absolutely be. Yeah. If it's not, we can just add some pigment to like latex or anything. with it.
Yeah, I think it's pre-colored black.
That'd be so nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ideal. That's great.
Amazing. Wait, I got a rag. I love you guys. All right. Now I want a skirt for wiping my grease on.
So we'll want to put something on this, just like a spring.
Yo, yeah, to keep
Just
it
to
sort
keep
of
it
roughly
centered.
centered. Can I
Yeah.
take a look at that?
Yeah, please, go nuts.
Oh, that's just the bottom lid. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Amazing.
So, and then we'll run a line through this.
Right.
This next one, pop it through here, swage it on, and there's the entire
Amazing.
blink mech ready
All
to
right.
rig onto here. Nice, and just pull it on through. Easy, leave it there.
All right.
And now we can
Oh,
just,
right. And then we crimp at the end of this.
Yep. So
All
we're
right.
gonna just back it on itself and run a swage on the end.
And you're just using the swage to stop it.
Yeah, the swage is just running as an end stop rather than like, I originally had the swage on the far end, ran through, ran back, swaged
Right.
it in front. I did all of that before assembling it into the skull, and then every time I needed to do anything, I needed to backbeat it. It was a nightmare.
Go ahead.
We didn't run it through the eyelid.
Oh, I wish we were smart.
All right. There we are.
That's better. There you go, have fun.
May I? Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Oh,
Hey.
when the eyes close all the way, it's so beautiful. Oh, I love it. I think we're going to be way out here at the end, though.
Oh, but we want to trim it back
Oh,
here.
right. Yes.
wanna
Oh,
quick
yeah. You've got a
disconnect.
whole system there. Okay.
We'll want to run a
Piece for the ears.
piece for the ears, which is on ours. It's just a couple of quick disconnects.
And then I was just going to reach around there with some needle nose and bend that back.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. Let me
I
grab
have a
you.
little bit of wiggle, but honestly, that's kind of a nice thing to
Yeah,
have.
I think
that,
I feel like you're right. Here,
what's
you
that?
want to try doing them? Oh, it's really nice and
tiny
stable.
little bit of movement.
Yeah.
But that's kind of nice because you get that when you
No, I think it's
with a
great.
blink.
Very cute.
Let me just pop this in for 2 seconds so
Yeah.
it looks less freakishly horrifying all the time.
Oh, he's a very handsome one. Oh, yeah. I love
This
it.
is looking excellent.
Dude, that's great. That's great. Dude,
What a happy little one.
that is a lovely little guy. Oh, man, that's awesome.
Oh, it's delightful.
Should be good.
Oh, dude. You must fall in love all the time
Yeah.
with the thing that's
I
looking
just-
out at you from the workbench.
I just end up patting them for a very long time. Yeah.
Oh,
So it's starting to look a little. We're getting there. We're getting there.
I love
next-
his
the-
widow's peak. It's very rock and roll.
Well, yeah.
And
the
that's
proper
just
fur
about
around the
laying in
eyes
some
and-
glue and putting the
Yeah.
fur on top of
Yeah,
it. And kind of
yeah.
just building it in. Yeah.
Yeah. I use my tacky glue. What I do is instead of using the whole fur, is I
Right.
snip it off and I lay
You
my
start
glue.
tacking it in.
Yeah. And I grab it in the clusters like this and kind of just
Oh, it's sort of
We'll-
like the way
we'll
you do
tack
hair
it down.
punching.
very much.
Right.
Very much so. And then
Okay.
you'll, and it's kind of important to hold it and keep
Right, to get them
the
all lined
cluster.
up. Ah,
And then you just,
so it's like a hair
you'll have
punching
your
a little
glue
bit.
there. Yeah, yeah. And then you'll just whack it down.
And then
onto
it
the
comes
texture.
in.
Yeah, and it just
And
blends
then
in
the
really
last step is
beautifully.
what you said, the painting of the
Mhm.
black around.
Yeah, the painting of the black just around the eyes is kind of the key little bit.
All right, everybody. We shot a rabbit last night because, shockingly, the day got away from us. But Claire, you went back to the hotel room and spent a few more hours working on
I
Owlbear.
did. I really wanted to make sure that you got a chance to see how you did the eyes and everything else. So I took it back to the hotel room and did a
I'm
little
okay.
extra.
I want to say from the outset, like, it kind of blows me away now seeing this compared to this and realizing that when you guys create, you are creating forms within forms within forms.
Mhm.
And I do not have the institutional knowledge about how fur on hard forms creates a character. And I'm so glad you did this because so much character is here now.
Yeah, it's just all of a sudden gone from our odd wombat face to this.
So
Just
talk
cute
to me
little
about this work here.
So what I've done is I have added this lovely feathering in of the fur, blended it to the eye. So what I did was I tacked down all of the edges of the fur that I applied to the face yesterday.
Yep.
I tidied everything up. I trimmed my edges back, and then I applied my favorite glue, this tacky gel glue. Yeah, it's great. It's super fast drying, and it holds really lovely, just enough to get the tips of the fur into it. I use my very sophisticated tool. This is my fur tool that I use.
Your big hat pin.
Yeah, the floristry pin. It's great because you can use the tippy to slick down the fur
Right.
and
So you've
smush it
done it
down
on,
with the
and
head.
you've done it on the left eye, but not the
Yes,
right eye.
but not the right
Okay,
eye, 'cause
You've
I've-
left me this to
I've
screw
left
up.
that for you to
Excellent.
do.
I cannot
So,
wait.
and now you got the one side as reference. I've done that. I've blended in the beak,
Mm-hmm.
which the fur's a little long. I love grabbing a pair of doggy clippers and just feathering the
Ah,
fur to blend in with the beak. And I've also added a little bit of feather texture here.
I noticed you added some feather
Yeah.
texture over
Yeah,
here.
I love just that extra added movement. The emu feathers in particular just have this like lighter than air look. Yeah.
They also create more topography. They create more facial expressive detail.
Yeah, and they make it look a little messy. And
Right.
I think things feel like they have more warmth and personality if they're scrungly. Like I use the word scrungly all the time. So everything we make, I want scrungly. for everything.
The love of my life is a 16-and-a-half-year-old terrier who, her face is
Uh-huh.
nothing but a scrubbernutters.
Yeah.
You said that the ears were one of the linchpins for you of the character.
Yeah, they really are. So I've gone a lot longer with the ears here because I love this beautiful long fur and it adds so much like bedhead.
Yeah, yes.
It reminds me of the Highland cattle, the Highland cow kind of texture.
Okay.
Has that sort of just got out of bed, just woke up feeling, and I feel like that's like this fur has kind of added to the character.
I'm so delighted.
Yeah.
I was not sure this fur was.
Yeah,
I was
same,
positive this fur was
same.
not going to work. Or
Between the blonde fur and doing the green eyes, and I was really happy that they worked out.
I
think
love the green eyes. They
Thank you.
balance against the ginger so well.
I love painting eyes. Painting eyes is like one of my favorite things to do. So I was really happy that the green worked, and I was happy that that was the cast that worked flawlessly as well. My favorite pair is the one that casts flawlessly. So
Oh, beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. You said you feel like it might be a she.
yeah, I'm just getting that vibe
Yeah,
as the
yeah.
character is sort of coming out. Yeah. So you have a sister. Yeah.
So I see the blending work, and you've done some painting of the black around the
Yeah.
eye, the rim of the.
Normally
eye.
at home I use the paint on electrical tape. You found the Flexi paint. That worked great.
That went great.
Actually, in some respects, because the paint on electrical tape dries so quickly, I have to work so fast. This gave me time, and I was sitting there just like, oh wow, this is a really long working time. And I just
Lovely.
sat there and applied that. Yeah.
I'd love some advice about
Yes.
airbrush work.
Yes.
What should I look for? What are the layers that I want to attack?
The primary thing that I love to focus on is just the eye blending. It's kind of like makeup theory. You want the lovely gradiated blend. I like to start with a little bit of black to blend this harsh
Mm-hmm.
eyeliner out.
Yep.
Yeah, just like
Give it a
when you're
little
doing your
transition.
eyeliner in the morning, as you do, how you'll take your brush and you'll feather it out to get a beautiful smoky eye.
Absolutely.
I think most of these puppets look great with a really good smoky eye. I take the black and then I feather that out to a brown,
Mhm.
which kind of makes it look a little bit more natural. I like to take the colors from here and blend them all through.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Yeah.
you start from the bottom of the eye moving down,
Yes.
and then I'm assuming there's also
Yeah,
some work at the transition points.
Absolutely. So I like to feather out this harsh white edge and I'll
Right.
blend that in with the airbrush paints. A big thing I also really love to do is love to put a whole bunch of gray and brown around the beak, like they've been feasting and don't care because that's important to me.
Nice.
Yeah. Sometimes I can take a little bit of white on the beak, around the nostrils, a little bit of buildup is really fun too. Yeah.
Since I haven't airbrushed fur before, what is a classic way newbies screw this up?
Using the wrong paint is
Oh.
a really easy way to screw it up. Fur, you don't want to change the texture of fur too much. A lot of paints can clump the fur together. I like to use dyes that are intended for airbrushing fabrics.
Right.
I use Jacquard Dynaflow, which is my favorite fabric paint of all time because I can just pour it in my airbrush and just airbrush fabric. You can heat set it, which is amazing. For fur, you can get an additive that will set itself.
Wow.
So it's really good when you're using it on things that you can't necessarily heat set, which I love a lot.
So you mean using the wrong paint texturally, but also color-wise?
Yes, that's a big one as well.
And I should be using colors that are within this range or work well with both of
Yeah,
these.
exactly. Like bringing in some dark browns to some contouring.
Yeah.
It's all just looking at reference as well is really cool.
Ah.
Finding
Just like whatever reference
just-
gives you a spark.
yes, finding owls that you like the
Mhm.
texture of, and choosing to like whether around the beak the way that
Yeah.
their beak picks up texture from the world around them. And yeah,
Amazing.
is really cool. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, right. One last
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
I wanted to ask was about the incredible feather texture.
Yes.
You were cutting into the.
Yes,
Can tutorial me.
we can do some of that right now if you like.
Yeah, I would love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely.
This was the thing that I found most surprising was how much feather texture you got out of fur.
It's one of my favorite things to do. It's kind of more of a costumey technique,
Yeah.
but it's really fun to bring it into puppetry. There's a lot of fursuit makers who rely on the same sort of technique.
Amazing.
I like it because it's really, really easy and you can just kind of work at it over time. You wanna brush your fur out.
Yep.
The key to doing a good feather cut is the angle of the scissors.
Ah.
And you just want to follow the contours of the body.
Yeah.
I like to start a little small and then towards mid back you'll get larger
Uh-huh.
and gradually feather it out. And then you can start blending them into the rest of the fur by just doing them more infrequently until they sort of fade out
So
into
you
nothing.
start strong and then you
Yeah,
fade as you come-
towards the edges. Because this is an owl bear.
Right.
You need some bear. You don't want all the owl feathers. So yeah, so angle your scissors so that they are angled outwards.
Mhm.
Because you want to make sure that there's enough fur underneath that feather. You don't want a little bald spot between them all.
Right.
That's kind of the key. And then it's a really simple case of just cutting a little V into your fur. I feel like this fur is going to be really fun for a feather texture.
I see, I think what you mean.
Yeah. Super easy.
You brush it out.
One of those things. It looks really cool on mass, and you just gradually build them up. And then you want to pick your midpoint along your first feather, roughly.
Right.
You don't always want to be
Oh,
perfectly
gotcha, right.
uniform. That's why I'm good at this stuff, because I'm not precise, and none of this should be precise, so it's kind of a match made in heaven.
Nature is not very precise.
And then
I
you
see.
join those.
Oh my
Oh, we got
goodness.
some feathers. Sometimes if the edges are a little too scissory looking, like a bad haircut, I'll grab the doggy clippers.
And come in
Just come
do
in
some
and
shaping?
yeah, just shape them a little bit. And it's just about just gradually taking your scissors and doing layer after layer. Sometimes I'll do them in rows, or I work all the way around the body at once.
But it's not a specific plan. It's to the character.
Yeah, feel don't think. Yep. It's very much one of those things.
I just love it when the thing tells you what it wants.
That's my favorite part of making. And all of this is so much the character just comes out as you're working. And we've kind of got the foundation here of just our feather cut, and we'll carry that.
And this
all the
would
way
be
through the
small.
body.
It would get slightly bigger here and even bigger down.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. And then you carry that up into the head, but not doing across the whole head, sort of stopping maybe.
Yeah. I like to carry it through the brow here. I can do a couple here if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got time. Yeah, I like to not hit the white with it, because the white I leave for the real feather textures. But I like doing these little tiny little guys here. And I'll gradually make them get bigger as we go.
Oh my God, you're so bold holding a pair of scissors right there. I see.
Yeah, and I'll grab the doggy clippers later and clean them up. You can see the sort of foundation of how they come together on the forehead. Do we want to do a little bit of fur laying with my...
Yeah.
Where's my tool? Where's my pin gone? There's my pin. I'll do the outer corner of the eye, because I want to make sure that you have some to play around with later. But we just
Copy that.
kind of avoiding the inner eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really easy process. It's very satisfying.
And this is like
apply
a kind of a sort of all-purpose craft glue.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
yeah,
it.
I've got
Clear
tons of that.
tacky glue, yeah. It's I love how accessible some of this stuff is.
Yeah.
I love when you just use really accessible materials. You can just grab it across, and puppet making is really good for that. Puppet making is so accessible. I mean, aside from all the 3D printing side of this one, but you could do that with
paper mache or
paper mache.
cardboard.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I like to do is I just grab a little section of fur.
Oh, you're cutting all the fur right off of its
the
base, but it's all lined up.
Yeah, so I'll do that. And I'll try and keep the general shape intact in my hands. I'll kind of line it up. Look at the direction of the fur and just angle it a little bit. You can angle it when it's in place too.
Mm-hmm.
I just carefully lay my foot down. I just use the tip of my pin. You can trim these back from the eye at the
For
end.
sure. And I'm sure the first time you did this, you glued a lot of fur to your fingers.
Oh, absolutely. The entire experience is a sensory nightmare of
I
the
find
fur
it
process.
in my mouth a lot.
Same. I do in my nostrils. I'll blow my nose and I'll just have like this delightful combo of snot and fur. It's great. It's just.
I see. It's so simple.
Yeah. Oh, it's so easy. Yeah.
It's really coming across.
Kidding
There's
me.
something's going on
Yeah.
there.
For the feathers are so easy. It's one of those things where you just pick a spot in your fur. I can probably show you where these were laid yesterday. I'll use the bottom of my comb
Oh, yeah.
to just slide up the fur. A little dab of glue. Just a little one. In there. We'll go hiking, and whenever I find emu feathers, I'm like, yes, it's natural emu
Amazing.
feathers. It's great. Where have I put my fur laying tool, which I use for everything? That's just how it goes with this. Sometimes I'll get like a little cluster. I might, since it's close to the face, I'll take this long one out. There's on a couple little short feathers in.
And just make sure they're potted in the glue.
Yep, just embedded there, and I'll hold it in place. And just brush the rest of the
I
fur down.
love the whiskery aspect. Claire, I'm so moved to have an owlbear in the cave. I have a lot of work to do, but I literally cannot wait to show it to you
I'm
guys.
so excited to see what you do because so much of this is just making little character choices.
Yeah.
And you know what you want. You
Yeah.
know what companion you want. So it'll be cool.
Guys, it's been so inspiring spending a couple of days playing with you. I hope this isn't the last time.
This has been incredible.
This has been
Getting
a
to
dream.
be-
Oh, good. Amazing. Hi, guys. We're back to Owlbear. I know the video is still going, but for me, it's been about 2 weeks since Oren and Claire were here. And they brought such untold wonders into my cave. This is Owlbear, and he's a good-looking boy, and he's basically all together. He's all together. His head is mounted on his body. I did a slightly different thing I've got some sort of, I did a slightly different thing than Claire and Oren had designed. I actually, what they have is an attachment system of some clips holding the head down to the body. And I may still do that, but I have a plywood basin here and a piece of copper tubing, actually aluminum tubing, stiff aluminum tubing that comes up here to here. And then the back of the head has basically a little hole in it that clips to that. So the head here sort of hangs off of this arm. And it gets some nice movement, which I'll show you in some B-roll. But there are a few finishing touches to put on this beautiful boy. Among them are, he's got some hands and feet, which I'm working on right now. I'm gonna put the feet are just gonna be static, but the hands are gonna go on the ends of some armature arms so I can do some different things with them. And I'll pass those through and do some hot gluing to bring it all together. Then comes the real work, which is Claire did a little bit of feathering on the beard to show me how it works. I'm going to continue the feathering that she showed me. I'm going to finish the right eye for its surround and do some trimming. And then once I get that, it's time for the airbrushing. That's to tie this whole thing together. And I even have, I think, a slightly different color of fur, of blonde fur that I may use as an accent color. We shall see. Little hairs get everywhere. That is the thing about working with fur. But isn't he a good-looking boy? Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Are you excited? Yeah, very excited. I may lighten the edge of the eyelid here so it's just a little more visible when it closes. That's just a personal thing I might do. Oh, yeah. Oh, very excited. Oh, yeah. I just keep making that sound. All right, let's get to some hands and feet. Hi, buddy.
How you doing? Oh, you are happy. Oh my gosh, he's so pretty. Oh yeah, oh yeah. What? Hi, hi. Thank you guys. Owlbear is so happy. I am so happy with Owlbear. Thank you to Hench and Scrap for coming by the cave, for introducing me to my first owlbear in Adelaide last year. I can't thank you guys enough for the tutelage and the instruction and education in making such a handsome one. This is really one of my favorite things I have ever built. He is just so gorgeous. I'm over the moon. His beard's a little funny. What's going on? What am I missing? Oh, okay. It's fine. I'm just over the moon. Yeah. Oh, hi. So, thank you to Hench and Scrap. Thank you guys for watching this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Bye.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And while usually I use this space to tell you about new merch, I'd like to tell you about some classic merch. Specifically, my favorite thing we have ever produced, which is the Adam Savage Shop apron. I love it when people bring these to me to sign at my cons. But if you can't get to one of our cons, that's fine. You don't have to wait, because we are selling both signed and unsigned versions of these aprons at adamsavage.com. Get yours today and start wearing it in.